news as we look at First News. Fair, accurate, you get the damn truth. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel will decide whether and how to respond to Iran's major attack on their country this week. Brushing off calls for restraint, Israel has vowed to respond to Iran's unprecedented attack with over 300 missiles, trying to destroy their cities and kill as many Jewish people in Israel as possible. And Joe Biden and Democrats here in the country saying, don't strike back. Don't strike back. We would if we were attacked. By the way, keep in mind, folks, that was an offensive move from Iran.
That's right.
Israeli allies have been urging them, hold back. Iran's president warned that even the tiniest invasion would bring a massive and harsh response. You don't get to pick. You had just attacked a country. Israel and Iran have waged a long shadow war, but the weekend strike was their first direct military attack on Israel. Everybody knows where all these terrorist attacks around the world have been coming from, who finances them, where they're getting the technology, the weaponry. We all know, and they're getting it from you. The funding for Iran still continues even with the attack on Israel. We still fund them. We're still sending billions. No tariffs yet. Nothing put in place on Iran from us, the U.S. Jewish people around the world will celebrate Passover, recounting the biblical story of the Exodus from Egypt after hundreds and hundreds of years of slavery. Yes, folks, there was slavery around the world before it even hit the U.S. For many Israelis, it's hard to fathom honoring this occasion right now with so many of their families still in captivity. Americans still being held hostage by Hamas, funded by Iran. And yet, nothing from us, the U.S. Passover begins on Monday. Many families, it's going to be a tough one for them. The United Arab Emirates is struggling to recover from the heaviest recorded rainfall ever to hit their desert at the main airport. They're trying to resume normal operations. Dubai Airport, world's busiest when it comes to international travel, allowed some of the global carriers yesterday to start flying into the UA airport. Usually an arid desert climate. There was a big storm that hit there earlier in the week. It happens. It caused massive flooding. Got 5 inches of rain there in a place where they normally only get 3 to 4 inches all year. We told you Europe's farmers are angry, staging their biggest protest. Groups are egging them on, trying to ride their anger to new success when it comes to their parliament elections coming up in June. Their incomes are low. They're putting on tighter regulations on the farmers, determining when they can seed, when they can plant, how much fertilizer they're going to use, and they're struggling. Protests are becoming violent, pushing governments to scale back now their environmental ambitions if they want to eat. And this is the case I talked about earlier, where you folks are now on the hook. The United States Justice Department, that's you and I, has agreed to pay $100 million to about 100 people. They said they were sexually harassed and assaulted by sports doctor Larry Nassar, according to AP. The deal hasn't been finalized yet, but an internal investigation found that the FBI agents mishandled the misuse allegations before he was arrested. So Nassar, the company that he worked for, the hospitals and doctors' offices that employed him, no, we have to pay $100 million because our government agency, they say, mishandled it. You're on the hook. 25 years after the Columbine High School shooting, the trauma of that attack still has remained with some of the survivors. Some have taken years to identify themselves as survivors of the aftershocks. Some are still suffering from insomnia, dropped out of school, disengaging from their spouses and families. Some have developed healthy ways to cope on that horrific day. The same thing that many of our soldiers and first responders deal with on a daily basis as well. Local policemen all have to deal with these trauma events every day. Congress is moving right now on action to push through an aid package to help Israel and the Ukraine. House and Senate are publicly condemning Iran, punish them financially. Although nothing's been done yet, they've denounced their actions, but still no indication from the White House that they would even sign anything on all kinds of new measures that they are seeking. It was swift moving through the House, display the durability of American support for Israel, even though there is an anti-Semitic feel going through the country right now. The House yesterday also decided to drop the impeachment against Mayorkas, decided that it's just not the right time to break up the House in time of turmoil. They wanted to impeach him based on his lack of border security and his lying to Congress, but doesn't look like that is going to go through. Some big news from the NBA yesterday. They banned one of their players, Jonte Porter, disclosed information yesterday that he was betting on basketball games. The league said there was another individual known to be an NBA bettor that bet that Porter would not hit the numbers set for him from an online sports book. That bet would have won him $1.1 million. Porter is now the second person to be banned by Commissioner Adam Silver for violating their league rules. The other was former Clippers owner Donald Sterling when they did that one back in 2014. There was an engineer from Boeing yesterday that was testifying in front of a committee, alleges the aircraft company is taking manufacturing shortcuts. That's what the engineer said. When it comes to the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, he said they're putting out defective planes. The company's been under multiple investigations ever since that door flew off an Alaska Airlines flight in January. By the way, shares of Boeing stock have lost some $47 million over the last few weeks because, or 47 billion, dollars. That's the difference because of the investigation now into their manufacturing process. Joe Biden was in Pittsburgh yesterday talking to steel workers again. He's calling for tariffs on China, something that President Trump instigated many, many years ago. He said steel is an iconic American company, U.S. Steel, that is, for more than a century, and it should remain totally American. I agree with him there. There was a proposed acquisition by Japan's Nippon Steel to take over that company, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Wall Street heading a little higher, at least it's pointing that way today. Futures for the S&P 500 and Dow are both up this morning. Alaska Air Group was up 1%. They projected better than expected profits in the current quarter. Credit reporting company Equifax, that was down yesterday. They gave a weak forecast. Netflix reports its most recent financial results after the bell today. Bond markets have stabilized since Tuesday when the Treasury yields climbed on the fact that interest rates still may stay high for a while. Wireless and network company maker Nokia reported a smaller than expected profit yesterday, as we're getting a lot of quarterly profits out now from some of these companies. So that hurt their position on the stock market yesterday. Got to go to a different category here, folks. So just bear with me as we read this off of the screen. And when you got a computer as fast as our computer, sometimes it takes a while. Oh, they said it was the sound of a vehicle backfire that spooked that circus elephant up in Butte when he broke loose, went through the city streets there yesterday, scared the elephant. And of course, everybody there on Harrison Avenue stopped and got their phones out and started taking pictures and went through a fence on the Harrison Avenue, stopped traffic for a while. It's now made national news, although it's already circulated out here. People with the circus drove the trailer over. They had another elephant inside of it, and they put the ramp down, and the elephant walked right back in the trailer.
Okay.
To get near her buddy after 10 minutes. That was about it. And the circus went on that night. That same circus, by the way, is coming here, and it will be here on April the 25th, I believe. Starts the 25th and will run through the 28th. If you want to get tickets for that, hold on, I got to go to a different category. I made my notes here, so I knew where to go to get these stories for you. Sundance Film Festival may not be in Park City, Utah. They're exploring the possibility now on moving. It's been there for 40 years. It's big over there. The 25-26 festival will take place still in Park City and Salt Lake City, and but they're taking steps now to look at different options for that festival. Canadian police said 9 people are facing charges in the biggest gold theft in Canadian history from Toronto's Pearson International Airport a year ago. 6,600 gold bars were worth more than $14.5 million were stolen. The gold was melted down and used to buy illegal firearms. Those involved include an Air Canada warehouse employee and a former Air Canada manager, and also a jewelry store owner, all involved in that big theft. We talked about it earlier. Alaska Airlines grounded some flights on Wednesday. Technical issues. They're based out of Seattle. They requested a stop not only for all Alaska, but all Horizon Air flights too, out of caution. It was the system that calculates their weight and balance on the aircraft. I don't need to go into that anymore. It lasted about an hour. Delays were expected throughout the day. They caught up yesterday, but everything since then was put back to normal. You drive a Ford Bronco Sport. Ford is recalling more than 456,000 of them, and Maverick vehicles too. I didn't know they made the Maverick again.
I thought they stopped that in the 70s.
Due to battery detection issue can result in loss of drive power. This must be electric. According to the Traffic Safety Administration, the body and powertrain control modules may fail to detect changes in the battery charge. When undetected, a low battery can cause loss of power when you drive. Sudden stalling, inability to restart it, inability to use your electric lights, turn signals, everything. The recall affects 403,000 model 2021-24 models and 53,000 Mavericks from the year 2022 to 23.
The Maverick is a pickup now.
Oh, that's what they did. Mm-hmm. They brought the name back. Dealers will recalibrate those vehicles at no cost to the owner. You'll get a letter sent out on May the 13th. Oh, there was a man charged in court in Illinois this week because of the transport of millions of dollars worth of Masters golf tournament merchandise and memorabilia that was stolen from the Augusta National Golf Club. Richard Globensky, accused of transporting the items across state lines into Tampa, knowing they had been stolen. Government said items taken from the golf club and other locations. Actually, he started stealing them in 2009 all the way through 2022. Going to have to forfeit his property, cash attained from the proceeds. And yes, folks, even at the Masters golf tournament, they have problems. Theft, other things like that. And let me see here. Let's go to this list. This is news out of Cheyenne. Fish and Wildlife Service said that 2 more black-footed ferrets have been cloned from genes used from the first clone of the endangered species. They genetically did this from an animal that was frozen back in the 1980s. Uh-oh. This sounds like a Jurassic Park movie.
It does.
The first black-footed ferret clone has not successfully bred, but 2 new females. They've named them, by the way. One is Noreen, the other is Antonia. They hope to create a more genetic diverse ferret through this cloning. They were extinct. They weren't ever around till a dog found one in 1981. And then all of a sudden they started finding more, 7 more. And all of the ferrets that are around today, they say, all descended from that small group of ferrets that they found. So, And Berlin Zoo is celebrating today the 67th birthday of Fatal, the gorilla, its oldest resident, believed to be the oldest gorilla in the world, Mark.
Got nothing to do with me.
Well, this one's 67. It was born in 1957, ahead of the official birthday Saturday. Keepers tomorrow will serve up a treat of fruit and vegetables to the gorilla. There is no gorilla older than Fatal at any other zoo in the country. And they also assume that there is no animal older than her anywhere in the wild. The animals don't live as long in the wild as they do in the zoo, but they're going to celebrate this morning. So, but, I know a couple in the top 10.
No, you don't.
Hairy beasts scratch themselves a lot. Yeah, like bananas. So anyway, congratulations to her. Happy birthday.
In sports, I am in no way, shape, or form a hockey guy, but the Coyotes played their last game in Phoenix last night. They are going to be moving to Salt Lake City. Got a new owner, and there's talk of a new arena there. I had to look up population of Salt Lake, and it's 1,000,001, and I'm sure you're probably close to 1,000,005 for the whole area up there. But plus, it's going to be easier for them to keep the ice cold in Phoenix or in Salt Lake than it was in Phoenix. So if you're a hockey fan, that'll be a thing.
Nice day today. Sunshine, just going to be below normal. 45 degrees today for the temperature and a lot of sunshine. Still a little breezy, not quite as bad as yesterday. Colder tomorrow, though, 43 on Friday. Saturday, 50. By the way, all these nights we're talking about, we're still going to freeze overnight. And Sunday, 63, 40% chance of rain. About next Tuesday, Wednesday, we start getting some more of that spring weather in. But right now, it's chilly. It's about 26 in Billings. First light, clear skies, 6:43. That's what's happening. Game day today with the Flakes. Kick that off later. Thanks for tuning into the Cat.